That is everybody's undivided attention, as I do have some important safety rules to go over with you all. Now, safety rule number 1. Please keep all items inside the locomotive at all times. This means phones, purses, cameras, wallets, arms, legs, heads, hands, feet, spouses, and children. That is if you like them, of course. Now, rule number 2. This aisle that goes up and down the train is called the conductor's aisle. That is because it is for conductors only. Please refrain from standing in the aisle, moving in and out of the aisle, and most importantly, moving up and down the aisle. This train can come to a stop in under 3 seconds, and if you find yourself standing in the aisle when this train needs to make a stop, I can tell you from personal experience that you will learn what it's like to fly. Now, while that flying part may sound like fun, that crash landing into the windshield is not so fun. And rule number 3. In the extremely unlikely event of an emergency, do not panic and call 911. Please remember that we are on the side of a mountain, and it is extremely hard for emergency personnel to meet us there. Instead, if you notice something that I do not, please notify me immediately, and I will handle it in a timely manner. And with that, I will be going up and down the train to make a quick head count. Please hold any questions until I am done with my head count.
Mostly when you take them off. What you need is one that just goes over your entire face. That must be a soft Besides the area.
Yeah, so you're fighting.
I hope so. Can't remove your That's where the top is. Was this old thing?
Well, this you get close. It's absolutely.
It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all aboard the Broadmoor's Manitou and Pikes Peak Cog Railway, the highest cog railway in the world, and the highest railway of any kind in North America. Today we will be embarking on an 8.9-mile journey up to the summit of America's mountains. The summit is an elevation of 14,115 feet. That's about 7,600 feet above our current elevation. Now, between our shining new tracks, our new and newly refurbished trains, and our newly remodeled depot, we truly have spared no expense to bring your experience into the 21st century. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your ride up America's mountain. With that, I would like to introduce to you our train crew for the day. Now, if you look up to the top of the train, in that tiny glass box is our engineer. His name is Ron. Everybody say hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Ron's job is to get this train safely up and down the mountain, as he has done many times before. Now, my name is Bree. I will be your conductor for today. My job is all about the safety of the passengers, but I will also be providing a narrative about the historical landmarks along the way. Now everybody look left. Now look right. Well, that's not going to work very well now, is it? No, because we're all facing different directions. So to simplify this today, I will be referring to things on the 2-seat side or the 3-seat side. Just to practice this for today, as we have our first landmark coming up just beyond this boulder here. It is that of a rock that has fallen down the mountain in the shape of a diamond, like that on a playing card.
Past the boulder.
Past this?
Now we here at the COG like to be extra original in our naming process, and that's why we've named this Diamond Rock. Now Diamond Rock and all of the other rocks around it are made up of a 900 million year old mixture of mica, feldspar, and quartz. The rock is so unique to the area that it has been named Pikes Peak granite. Pikes Peak granite gets its shape from an erosion process called ice wedging. That is where water seeps through the cracks in the ice, freezes, and expands, creating the shapes you see here. All of those cracks in the rocks right here are a result of ice wedging. In just a moment here on your 2-seat side is our first waterfall of the day. This is called Rose Emma Falls, named after 2 young girls that used to live here back in the day. Looks like it's pretty iced over today, guys. Now, if you're sitting on the 3-seat Niagara Falls in New York, and it's around this time that I like to have you all introduce yourselves to your neighbors, especially those sitting across from you. Get to know their name, where they're from. Maybe if you're lucky enough to know their social security number.
Thank you.
No problem. Actually, I think I know. Oh yeah, look. There was a snow auger on the front. Or that could be an animal.
I do have a very good reason for this exercise today, as we are about to go up our very first 25% grade of the day. This means that for every 100 feet of forward motion, we are gaining 25 feet in elevation, and it can be very easy for you to slide out of your seat and into the person across from you, and it's at least less awkward if you know their name. We like to call this hill son of a gun hill. Son of a gun hill is back in the steam engine days. When the firemen were employed extra hard to shovel enough coal to maintain the speed pressure needed to make it up this enormously steep hill. But when they got to the top, they went to their engineer and they said, "Whew, that hill was a son of a gun." Now, having shoveled coal on a railroad myself, I can honestly tell you, they were not that polite. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering about rocks that may fall onto the tracks, and we do get them. And just the other day, there was a rock so large, it took both me and Ron to push it up onto the side of the mountain and drop 3 smaller rocks underneath it. Oh, I hope it's still there, because I'm not lifting that thing again. Okay, it is. Here's our heavy roof now, off onto the 2-seat side. We like to call that one prop rock.
It would be pretty loud.
Your mom showed a video with me a couple weeks ago. I don't know how old it was. Of somebody going up Blackberry there by Playground, and like the Jeep rolling down in front of them. Yeah, I don't know how long ago that was. George did that a couple of times.
Yeah, that person was too far off the edge. Their Jeep really took a couple. You wouldn't want to be in that.
I believe that there's this convergence of flushes and vortexes
Coming up on your 3-seat side in just a few moments is all that remains of the old Halfway House Hotel. The hotel boasted 15 rooms, a post office, a train station, a banquet hall, and above all things, a 1-lane bowling alley. Now all of this could be had for just $10 a week. It only functioned for about 34 years back in the 1800s before it mysteriously burnt down in a fire. All that remains today is a sign where the hotel used to stand.
Look at it. If you do, they're like, what do you want? What do you want? You're actually doing this.
Right here. There it is right there. Yeah, one lane. Yeah. You missed it, Deb.
Coming up next on your 3-seat side. In just a moment, you may see what looks like water coming out of a pipe. That's because it is. This pipe leads all the way back to the hydroelectric plant, one of the oldest hydroelectric plants west of the Mississippi. And it still powers over 200 homes today. And if you haven't guessed already, We like to call this one Pipe Falls. Coming up immediately after on your 3-seat side, we have a White House with red trim. If you'll note that cobblestone down there by the foundation, that was actually part of the original Old Halfway House Hotel. We like to call this house the caretaker's house. The caretakers live here full time with their 2 kids and their 2 dogs, Sparky and Bruno, to maintain this historical hydroelectric plant.
I just had to give her some. She said it's all bubbles. It's all bubbles. She's never had a tummy before. You see there's bubbles.
She likes dead bombing.
You want some poppers?
Bubbles?
What'd you put the cap on it for? Yeah, Jesus.
Begin to notice what looks like a small clearing. We call this Deer Park because the mule deer regularly like to graze here in the summer. It doesn't look like any around today though. And if you'll notice those trees with the dark cinnamon colored bark, those are called ponderosa pines. Now it is said that if you were to go up and hug a ponderosa pine or scratch it, it would either smell like butterscotch or vanilla. Now we were feuding over this for quite some time here at the COG, but just a couple weeks ago on one of my trains, that feud was long disputed. As it turns out, when the trees are dehydrated, they smell like vanilla, and when they're hydrated, they smell like butterscotch. I'm sure you've all noted the lovely bare aspen trees that we have around here. You might be interested to know that aspen trees have a shared root system. The largest living organism lives on the side of this mountain in the form of an aspen tree. I would like to ask anybody, do we have somebody from Delaware on our train? Anyone from the state of Delaware?
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's about how that goes. Nobody? Alright. Well, it may interest you to know anyways, that if you were to take the entire state of Delaware and plop it down here in the middle of Pikes National Forest, you could fit the entire state with wiggle room, as Pikes National Forest is a whopping 1.4 million acres. And it is home to many, many wildlife. Some of the wildlife you want to keep your eyes peeled for are the mule deer. Not so much the black bears around this time of year. I think they're all hibernating. The moose, the elk, the chipmunks, squirrels, various woodland birds. And above the tree line, you want to keep your eyes peeled for those Arctic ravens, those whistling yellow-bellied marmots, and, of course, those bighorn sheep. Let's try this one. Do I have anyone on my train from the state of Wisconsin? Okay, got a lot luckier with that one. Awesome. It may interest you to know that our founder, Salomon Simmons, was from Kenosha, Wisconsin. And if you think you've never heard that name, maybe you've slept on a Simmons Beauty Rest mattress? Same creator. Now, Salomon Simmons took a 3-day burro ride up to the summit of America's mountain to inspect some telegraph wires. And when he got to the top, he was so in awe of the views. When he came back down, when people asked him what he thought about his journey, he said, "The views to be the most uncivilized thing that he had ever done. So he rounded up investors and he pulled together a whopping $1.5 million. That was a lot of money back in the 1800s. He pulled all that money together and he built the railroad that you see today. Now, Pikes Peak has had many names over the years, and it may interest you to know that Zebulon Pike never actually made it to the summit of Pikes Peak, as when he set out on his expedition, he was wearing summer gear and quickly found himself knee-deep in snow. He wisely decided to turn around, and in his journals, he graciously named this the Grand Peak. It wasn't until years later, when other explorers used his journals to safely navigate up to the summit of Pikes Peak, that they named it Pikes Peak after his journalings. Now, before it was named Pikes Peak, it was called James Peak. To above the tree line here, I'd like to talk to you all about Catherine Lee Bates. Catherine Lee Bates took a carriage ride up to the summit of America's mountain, and she too found herself so in awe of the views that when she got back down to her hotel room in the cookhouse, she wrote a poem about it. Now that poem was later set to music called Materna, and is what we know today as America the Beautiful, second runner-up to our national anthem. We believe it is views, as you are about to see here today, that inspired her to write this amazing poem. In anticipation of this next view, if you would like to stand to take a picture, you are welcome to do so. Please do so in your area. I would still like to this conductor's aisle as clear as possible.
There you go now.
You guys look great.
How old are you?
23.
Crew members is up here right now. Now our current section crew today lives in their normal houses with their normal families, and they hitch a ride on one of our trains up to the part of the track that needs maintenance for the day. But back in the day, the section crew would live in this house full time during the summer and hike down to the part of the track that needed maintenance.
That'd be cool. How many we gotta leave? Oh, mine's a trick. No, they just fill it with water, and then they don't sell regular water. So the gift shop, they sell bottled water. You fill the bottle. That's a lot. I know.
I mean, this is what we don't play on Friday.
Can you get extra hydro flask there? They had a solo cup. Really? I used the one time when I got out of breath. Got me back in right away.
Especially like,
Yeah.
okay, like on the bike, you can 5 years or the best is just to save it. The best is to get an ID. It's like, it's the best.
I'm not doing that. I feel weird about that.
I used to get my coaches with it. It's like go up my game and now I can watch hockey. And this is just a basic saving for the basketball. It's allowed. Oh, that was cool. My therapy. Coming down, like the base bar, the base. At least it goes.